Hi, I'm Rajeev Goel, co-founder and CEO of PubMatic. And with me today is David Glaza, founder and CEO of Digits. We're here today to talk about retail media and the future of digital advertising supply chains. David, can you share more about your journey starting with Target and now as founder and CEO of Digits?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was at Target for 14 years. I started off as a store-side merchant on various categories from video games to bedding to candy to other grocery businesses. And then what really got me into the digital space was Target was launching out an app called Cartwheel, which is mobile coupons. And so for me, that taught me a ton about digital activations and mobile and really early days retail media. From there, learning a lot, I saw an expanding business, an expanding industry. So I decided to found Digits. So I founded Digits about 9 years ago now to be an independent retail media agency, helping both CPGs and retailers in the space.
Now, given your long arc of history in the retail media space, how have you seen the opportunities shift from traditional world now into online digital world in 2025?
Yeah, as online shopping has really expanded, it has really expanded retail media within it as well. So my purview and Digits is, our specialty is omni-channel retailers. So in the world of retail media, that's Walmart, that's Target, that's Kroger, Best Buy, even like a Lowe's and a Home Depot. So, physical retailers that also have digital presences as well. And at the beginning of Digits, e-commerce business was only about 2%. Now it's up to about 20% in some of our categories in business. So the way CPGs need to execute with retail media has really expanded both in importance and also as a core competency of being successful in today's retail.
Digital groceries is about a $200 billion market in the US last year, pretty significant. How has the rise of digital changed retail media from your perspective? And what are some of the key opportunities to grow that, I think, to 300, 400 billion and beyond?
Yeah, our CPG partners, as digital groceries expanded, they have certainly had to become experts in digital. And really that's evolved a lot of digital PDPs, which is your digital shelf placements, and also expanding to better retail media. And so their investments as a percentage of their shipments have really grown because as a customer, now you're not necessarily making a decision at the shelf. Let's say walking down the peanut butter aisle and trying to decide what peanut butter to buy. They are making that on their mobile phone, usually within a retailer app. So the decision point has changed. So the marketing touch points that surround that decision point have changed along with it. So CPGs have really had to embrace both digital marketing, but also digital capabilities within it.
What are some of the biggest shifts you've seen in consumer behavior as it relates to digital grocery shopping?
Yeah, there are some consumers that don't step foot in stores anymore. They're getting all their groceries delivered from Uber or Instacart or Shipt or Target or Walmart themselves. And so that experience that I think most of us veterans of the space remember of like how you experience grocery shopping is different for the next generation. And so that will continue to shift even more and more digital, especially from a routine shopping point of view. And grocers themselves are turning to be more experiential, right? More inspirational in store. And so grocers are having to figure out that mindset in store and how the shopper uses those two experiences differently.
So let's shift gears and talk a little bit about the PubMatic and Digits partnership. So we announced a partnership in November of last year where Digits is adopting the Convert platform. Tell us a bit about why you chose Convert and what you're hoping it will do for your clients.
Yeah, Digits, we operate what we call our Digits RMN, our retail media network, where we work on behalf of various regional grocers and convenience stores. And we sell and operate and place ads for them on-site and off-site across that network of stores. We were looking for a provider that I'd say had an all-inclusive platform. And so we were very excited about that with PubMatic and with Convert, that we can do on-site, we can do off-site, we can do paid search, and we can sort of connect all those dots within one pretty easy to use platform. Because our job as a business is to be able to sort of reduce fragmentation in the space between these smaller regional grocery players, older CPG partners, and we couldn't take on more complexity with multiple technology partners. So I'd say we are very happy to find you guys in this space, pulling all that together in sort of a growing, changing, evolving platform that is really becoming a leader and being able to do exactly what we needed to do in that spot.
Let's talk a little bit about the importance from the retailer perspective. How important is it to be able to combine both on-site and off-site monetization in a single platform and be able to optimize between the two?
Yeah, I think combining the two together is paramount because retailers are retailers first. They have, a lot of their time and dedication and resources are dedicated to that. They want to be able to do media on top to help drive business and traffic and give their CPG partners, but they need to be able to make it easy, especially in the regional market where maybe digital penetration isn't quite as strong as it is on a big national player or a pure play retailer. So having an easier platform to be able to wrap it all together is really a must.
I think part of the strategy with local grocery retailers is to bundle a lot of inventory across a number of different local retail chains or local grocery chains and make that addressable for, let's say, a regional buy or a national buy. What do you see as the opportunity there for small retailers, small grocers to be able to attract those national dollars?
So regional grocers do a lot of business in this country. Independent grocers are very large as well, but they're harder to work with because it's fragmented. And that on the supply chain side, that might be different trucks or different distributors or wholesalers. And on the media side today, that means different providers. Some are on an Instacart platform, some are on a Criteo. But so for us, working together with you guys, being able to aggregate those together and to give CPGs an ability to run a national program across maybe 5, 10, 15 different regional grocers really makes that turnkey for them to be able to bring a solution to those customers in a similar way that they might with a big national grocer.
That's one of the opportunities I'm really excited about because with our supply path optimization relationships with major advertisers and agencies, they're looking to us to simplify the complexity of having to buy across multiple fragmented retail media networks. And I think together we can bring, significant audience together that's shopping in these independent or in these local grocery shops every day, but may not otherwise draw the attention of these big brands and agencies.
Yeah, I think brands want to run media every store that they're carried, right? Like every store that has their product ultimately has loyal shoppers and have people that are buying there.
Like so, Coke, for instance, right? Inside of a small or independent chain.
Correct. I mean, they're driving units. They're selling units at all of these places. They would want an opportunity to talk to each of those outlets as customers. But for some of them today, it's hard because retail media just hasn't matured yet in a way to make that nice and easy.
Yeah.
And so I think through our work, that's helping. And that space will look a lot different in a couple of years than it looks now.
So thinking about the next 12 to 24 months, what are the big trends that you see having an impact on commerce media, on retail media, and digital shopping in general? I'm thinking here about things like CTV, generative AI, other major trends.
Yeah, CTV for sure. A lot of the major RMNs are breaking into that space. For RMNs, that's an opportunity to move up funnel and try to tap more into brand dollars or national dollars and become more of a discovery engine for products and to convince shoppers a little bit before the point of purchase to consider a brand. So CTV, we're seeing a lot of expansion in. Amazon has led that space through their NFL programs, but Walmart, Target, Kroger are all really pushing and trying to get campaign dollars attached to CTV.
And that's interesting because I think what you're saying is that typically the retailer is viewed as very bottom of the funnel, right? We're measuring, as you said, the ROAS, right? The return on ad spend. But here now with CTV, given the full site sound motion, they can go and attract top of the funnel dollars.
Yeah, that is what they're looking to do. The great thing is that it's still retail media. So you can still, it's a logged in experience. So and you're only talking to, let's say, a Walmart customer. If you're only carried at those retailers or whatnot, you can direct your spend just to those people. And so it's a highly efficient experience, even if it is more full funnel within that space. The other trend we're seeing a lot is in in-store retail media. So in-store meaning screens, kiosks sort of within the space. So you'll see some regional grocers like Hy-Vee have made an announcement in that space. Amazon and their grocery stores have talked about it. And I think you see a lot of retailers trying to find the right way to programmatically serve video ads or display ads on TVs and different screens in their physical location.
In order to drive purchase right there at the point of sale.
Correct, right? Today, historically, we will serve ads on somebody's phone while they're physically standing in a store, right? But then they actually have to take their phone out. Like we have to find somebody who's already on their phone.
Got their phone in front of them, yeah.
Yep. Versus in the future, I think you'll see TVs on end caps. You'll see TVs mounted on ceilings around stores, really to maybe talk about that new brand of chips or that new flavor of ice cream as you're walking down the ice cream aisle. So you'll see that expansion quite a bit over the next couple of years as well.
Interesting. So Amazon recently announced that they're opening up their retail technology to other retailers. What impact do you think that'll have on the ecosystem, and how do you think retailers will react to that?
Yeah, I think for Amazon, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, their retail media tech is certainly, first class, right? They are the leader in retail media.
Right.
So being able to offer that outward really just adds another possible solution for retailers. Similar to Instacart. So Instacart today will offer retail media solutions on a outward basis for retailers and white label apps and whatnot. I view Amazon as similar to that. So I'm sure there will be some retailers where it makes sense for them to want to outsource that technology within the space, but it'll be interesting to see if it works for them or not. Amazon does have a history of trying to sort of white label. Many years ago in my history at Target, Amazon was actually the e-commerce provider.
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
They were the back-end provider for e-com.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think retailers have a lot of history of, when to do things themselves, when to use a partner, when to use, a partner/competitor like Amazon. And so I think that it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out and which retailers decide that it's the way to go.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting dynamic because Amazon, of course, is a competitor to many or some of these retailers. And so there is that competitive dynamic there. What do you think it means for the value of independent technology providers, whether it's PubMatic or others, and where the opportunity may be shifting?
Yeah, I think independents obviously need to make sure that you have a niche and an expertise within the space. And so us as an independent, we're an independent agency, right? So we make sure that the things that we do we're really good at, so that we can compete against the players that do more things within the space. So I think independents will be more specialized, potentially better at certain things, and also sort of fuel retailers to own their own experience. It's usually a little bit more customizable. They own their own data,
right?
Versus if you're working with a much larger scale like Amazon, you might have to compromise on some of those things versus working with a smaller independent company.
We've always found as an independent technology provider, we have to be very nimble and agile and responsive to our customers' needs. Because we don't have, let's say, some of the scale attributes that, of course, the mega cap giants have. But we do pride ourselves on our agility and ability to serve our customers well.